Today we have the poem The Tiger by William Blake. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? So here we see that the poem begins by the poet addressing the tiger. He is asking the tiger who or what immortal hand could make such a fearful, such a beautiful, fantastic creation. So, this poem, when we read the first para of Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, it appears to be almost like a nursery rhyme. It's almost like a twinkle, twinkle, little star. But it is a very deceiving nursery rhyme, one could say, because there are deep layers of complexity hidden in this poem. So, first, Blake says that the tiger seems to be burning brightly. The word burning could stand for the tiger's flaming colors of orange and black. The tiger has glowing eyes, shining, luminescent in the night. And the tiger is prowling in the forests at night. So we see that vivid imagery of a tiger prowling in the night. It is scary and ferocious. And then the poet asks, what is that immortal hand or eye that could frame such a fearful, such a scary symmetry? The tiger's form is perfect. Every muscle, every nerve, the whole body, the beautiful coat that is shining orange and black, the stripes, the symmetry of it. So he exclaims on the beauty of such a magnificent creation. But then the word immortal is bringing God into the picture, or the creator into the picture. The word immortal means one that does not have death. So surely such a creation would have a great creator. We see that in this poem, Blake keeps asking us questions. There is the question mark, could frame thy fearful symmetry. Blake is exploring the very picture of God, of the creator and the creation. What kind of a creator has created this fearful animal? So let us see. In what distant deeps or skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? So we see, he says, in what distant deeps or skies. When he goes to the distant depths and the distant skies, we see that the entire universe, he is speaking about the entire breadth of the universe. Also, the words deeps and skies signifies heaven and hell also. So, where in all this universe, where does this creator lie? So, Blake's background was he was a Christian, and so we see that he is evoking the Christian God, and he is wondering to the nature of that God. He is asking the reader to think about the complexity of creation. So he says, was it in some hell or heaven or the very depths and heights of the universe that this creator came up with such an idea? On what wings does he aspire? What is his strength of creation? On what wings of fantasy or greatness does he aspire? And what do you have to say about the hand that seized the fire? So God has literally put fire or life into this fantastic creation. Now the word, the hand that seized the fire, brings to mind the story of Prometheus. In Greek mythology, we know that Prometheus stole fire and he gave it to the people on earth, to the creation that was man. But Prometheus, we know, that was punished for stealing that fire. He was not considered, but he was considered a hero by man, but the gods in Greek mythology, we see that the gods punished him. So, are we talking about a punitive, punishing God or the Christian loving, forgiving God? And what shoulder and what art could twist the sinews of thy heart? So now he says, what shoulder and what art, what strength and what artistic talent has gone into the creation of this creature? Who could twist the sinews of that great brave heart of the tiger? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand, what dread feet? And finally, when the heartbeat started, so we know that in the Genesis and according to all different religions, when God created man, it is said that he breathed life into his creation. So now here Blake points out that when the tiger started breathing, did God himself wonder? Did he for a moment dread his own creation? Did he stand back in awe and say, "Oh, what have I created? How dreadful is its face, its sharp teeth, its ferocious eyes"? Did he for a moment, even for a tiny moment, did he even regret his creation? So he asks the questions, and when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand, what dread feet? So there is the repetition of the word dread, which is emphasis. The next para says, what the hammer, what the chain, what the anvil, what dread grasp, there its deadly terrors clasp. Now we see suddenly the poet is taking us to a sort of workshop, to the work shed of a carpenter, for he says words like anvil, hammer, there is furnace. So we get the image of a very hot surface where somebody is working with metal. So he says, what is this anvil or what is this hammer that is being used to make this creation, and with what dread grasp is this blacksmith holding these tools and implements? And here we are taken again into Greek mythology. Not only the Greek mythology, all ancient civilizations celebrated blacksmiths and people who worked with metal, because the earliest weapons were created thus. We see in Roman mythology there is a Vulcan in his workshop making the celestial or ornaments as well as weapons. We have Daedalus who makes the wings for his son Icarus. And Icarus, when he does not listen to his father, flies very high to the sun and those wings get burnt. So both these characters are brought to mind because again, the blacksmith was given almost a divine status, we can see. In Indian mythology, there is the Vishwakarma. The Vishwakarman is the one who made the chariots for the gods and also the weapons for the great archers on earth and heaven. So here Hephaestus is again another master craftsman and artist who is supposed to have made the helmet of Achilles, the chariot of Hermes. So here we see the ultimate craftsman, the greatest artist of them all, God Himself, is seen to be sitting in His workplace and hammering away. The very poem has the tones of a blacksmith hammering or working with metal. You see the tune. What the hammer, what the chain, in what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil, what dread grasp? dare its deadly terrors clasp. So we have a sound of a blacksmith working. It is the sound of being standing next to a smithy. So now what furnace was the brain of the tiger created? So when we refer to the brain of the tiger, it is a brain capable of violence, capable of, destruction, destroying. So why did God want destruction? Now let us take it, if we take the tiger as a metaphor, this is something I think that a reader, of course, can take it in various meanings, but now let us take it as a metaphor. Tiger stands for mankind, all of mankind. Man is a beautiful, ferocious, amazing work of art. And why was he given this capacity for evil, just as he was given capacity for love? So this question is what Blake is asking. Why did that immortal God create man, a free thinking creature, a creature of free will? Even the angels, they do not have free will. The animals on earth, they do not have free will. They have instinct and they follow their instinct. But man has the free will to create his laws on earth and to rule over every other creature. But he is physically weak, but he has the ability to rule. And he has a great capacity for evil and violence and all the seven deadly sins too. So here we are made to think that, is it a rebellious God? Is it almost a God who wants to, like take an adventurous leap? Was God almost taking a risk by making man? Let us continue. When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who make the lamb make thee? Again, the poet is asking these questions to the tiger. We see that the stars threw down their spears. The stars could also be standing in for the angels, representing the angels and the heavenly beings. We know that the heavenly beings were first created by God. So why would they throw down their spears? The poet is asking, did they throw down their spears in order to show their revolt, their rebellion, their anger, their distrust at God? They are asking God, why have you created such a being on earth as man? And even in the mythology, we see that when the gods created man, they were reluctant to give fire because the gods themselves wondered how powerful man would become. And then Blake asks, did he smile his work to see? Did that God smile? In which case, he was a God ready to take risks, ready for adventure. Did he who make the lamp make thee? Now he asks a very deep question. He says, the lamb, which is such a mild, meek, gentle creature, we know that God has made lamb. Did that very same God make you, the tiger? Blake asks the tiger. And here too, we can see that we can take the lamb as a metaphor for Jesus Christ. The Bible calls Jesus the lamb. In many places, Jesus is referred to as the lamb. Blake himself has written a poem, a parallel poem we can call it, or a twin poem called The Lamb, in which he says, little lamb, dost thou know who made thee? And he also goes on to say that the lamb and the child is alike. So these are parallel poems. One is a poem on innocence. Lamb stands for innocence. And tiger is a song of experience. So again that question comes, did he who make the lamb make thee? So we here, if the lamb is Jesus, we can also ask the question, did that very same God who created Jesus also create Cain? Did he also create a Judas? Did he create all the evil in mankind while at the same time being able to create something as innocent and pure as Christ? So again the question comes, Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry? In the last para, we see that it is a repetition of the first one. Yet again, the poet is saying that the tiger is ferociously prowling through the forest. Here we see the animal as well as the metaphor it stands for, that is, all of mankind that God has created. Now, if we take it as creation and creativity, when Blake is asking whether God took a huge risk, we can also see an artist or a poet who takes a huge risk or who flings himself into the very depths of creation, creative, the limits of creativity. As Keats would say in his Nightingale, I fly on the wings of poesy. I fly and I reach those heights and I hear the muse that has inspired mankind from times immemorial. So, here too, this fearful creation, it also talks about the creativity in man, the strength of imagination. Imagination makes a person able to make the most beautiful artwork possible. So the poetic devices used are a very rich imagery is used, the deep skies, the fiery eyes of the tiger, the burning forest, and the smithy with the hammer, the anvil, the sound of the blacksmith. Then we have alliteration. There is tiger, tiger, TT, burning bright BB. So alliteration is used. Now the very word tiger is spelled Tyger. This is an archaic form of the word tiger, the spelling. It kind of takes us to a past. It makes us think of a past. So that is also taking us to the starting of creation. So, yeah, and now a very important point. So many rhetoric questions have been asked. Do you think the poet has got the answers to his questions? He has not given us the answers to these questions. These questions are for his readers to ponder, and I also feel that, in a way, Blake has told us that mere acceptance of these questions would also be enough. For the line, did he smile his work to see? We feel that God is not regretting making mankind, even if there is evil in mankind. God seems to see that there will be a redemption too. He seems to smile this rebellious and adventurous, at the same time kind God is not wary of his creation. So we see a sort of acceptance. The poem does not end in a melancholy, a state of melancholy, but rather that of acceptance, understanding. And we see that Blake is a deeply religious person. Thank you. Today I have a young artist with me. Ahil, say hi.
Hi.
What are you drawing?
Tiger.
A tiger. So we'll show the tiger. You've not completed, but that's
done.
okay. Yeah, you completed drawing. So this is Blake's tiger. Can you tell us something about a tiger?
It has sharp teeth.
Yes, it has sharp teeth.
Very fast.
It's very fast.
And it has very sharp.
What? Sharp claws. Retractable claws. And do you know the national animal of India?
Tiger.
Tiger, yes. Thank you. Thank you. The Tiger by William Blake. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? In what distant deeps or skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? And what shoulder and what art could twist the sinews of thy heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? What the hammer, what the chain? In what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil, what dread grasp dare its deadly terrors clasp? When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who make the lamp make thee? Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry?